Did you know that if you're earning over 100K a year, you're in the top 10% of the entire world financially? Let that sink in. That means you're statistically wealthier than 90% of the people on this planet, and you are in the top 10% with the people including billionaires, multimillionaires, all those successful entrepreneurs we look up to. So, if you're working a job you don't like, you're feeling like you're wasting your life and you're also feeling stuck, I want to ask you, why? Why are you constantly feeling exhausted, unfulfilled, even burnout, and wondering, is this really all there is? My friend, I'm not asking you these questions to criticize you. I am asking these questions to help you realize the truth. The truth is, if you are a high-income earner who also feels like you're barely surviving the 9-to-5 grind, yet secretly dreaming of quitting to do something more meaningful, you are not lost. You are just built for more. You have one massive advantage that no one is talking about, but that could change everything. Hi, I'm Shule. I'm a former Silicon Valley engineer and business strategist who left her successful career to build a purpose-driven business. I help high-achieving professionals break free from burnout, get clear on their life purpose, and strategize their 9-to-5 exits and build businesses that finally feel like them. I've been in your shoes for so many years. Graduated from the top university with honors degree, making 6 figures at the age of 24, checking all the boxes, but for years, crying on Sunday evenings and Googling how to quit your job and still pay rent. That is why I am making this video for you. Because the reality is, if you are making 6-figure or more and you're feeling unfulfilled, it doesn't mean that there is something wrong with you. It means that you are finally seeing it. Once you see it, you cannot unsee it. And my friend, you are in the perfect position to actually do something about this because you have the power and you have the leverage. And I will explain you why. Let's break this down. Most people think building a business or starting something of their own is just only for the brave, the lucky, the wildly passionate, which I believe mostly true, and I mostly agree with that. But guess what? As a 6-figure earner, you are already uniquely positioned to take calculated risks. Why? Well, the first reason is because you have a safety net. If you have been working a 6-figure job for a couple of years now, and if you were somehow good with the personal finance, you had savings and investments and 401k, then very likely your net worth is more than 100K. And in many cases, it's much more than that, like 10x or like 5x more than that. So you have some safety net. The reason number 2 is you have savings or the ability to build it fast. You're not starting from survival. I completely understand that we live in a society where everyone compares what they have to each other. I also understand that many people, and especially 6-figure earners, because it's possible for them, think that they're successful when they reach that 1 million or that certain number of net worth amount. It's kind of the measure of success for many people, especially in places like Silicon Valley. So what we do, we sacrifice our 20s, 30s, 40s, like majority of our youth, to build that dream net worth number. Most of us achieve that, especially we're working 6-figure jobs. But the question that we have to ask ourselves is, while reaching my dream net worth number, what am I sacrificing? You are sacrificing your health, your potential, your true purpose, your fulfillment, your dreams, the opportunity to spend your life doing what lights you up, meaningful work, then it isn't worth it. Because it's also 100% possible to find your purpose-driven work. In other words, what you're meant to do in this life, and make exactly the same amount of money and even more without any cap and without playing the corporate politics, while living more aligned life. Reason number 3 is you have access to high-demand skills, networks, and opportunities. Just to give you an example, if you're an engineer working in tech, then you probably have a very high-value skill set because that's why you're getting paid that much. And you also have that experience that you can package and solve problems that you care about in a way that's gonna give you more freedom. Examples are being a consultant, coach, fractional, or freelancing. Or let's say you're a doctor or a nurse, you're working in healthcare. You already have a great foundation to start a business about helping other people with their health, helping others live healthier and happier lives. You can help others in many different ways. There are literally endless opportunities, especially in today's world. So these are some high-level examples. Of course, it might not be 100% aligned to the path that you are inspired to follow, but I think you got the point. So what I'm saying is, if you're a six-figure earner and you know deep inside that you are meant for more than a soul-sucking job, I want you to know that you are so lucky. But you are not just lucky. You are also resourced. My friend, you can afford to explore different paths, different ideas. You can also afford to get support from mentors, coaches. You can afford to work on building something meaningful, even without the pressure of making it profitable overnight, which is not likely in many cases. And I want you to become aware of the abundance that you have, because 90% of the people on this planet doesn't have that, doesn't have the leverage that you have. You know what? I still live in Silicon Valley, and I personally know that there are so many people working in high-paying, high-paced, stressful jobs that they absolutely hate. And majority of these people I know desperately want to quit. They don't know how and where to start. And I know how exactly that feels because I've experienced that for many years. Here are some blind posts that's showing you that there are so many people with high net worth but feeling absolutely miserable, purposeless, and numb. Some people even say that they don't celebrate hitting net worth milestones, which is literally the outcome that they sacrifice everything for. I personally believe that the main reason why this happens is because they never questioned if they are living a life that's truly aligned to them or what they really want. They didn't prioritize reflecting on that. And when you trade your time, your youth, your energy, your life, just to hit a certain net worth number, which, by the way, is never gonna be enough because there's always more, this happens. The worst part. You will feel not satisfied, you will feel unfulfilled, and you will feel purposeless and numb at the end of the journey. The destination doesn't matter when you sacrifice everything during the journey. I am not saying money isn't important. In fact, I believe money is absolutely important. I love money. It gives me the freedom, options, and comfort. I wouldn't be able to do the things that I'm doing today if I didn't have money, if I wasn't making money in my business, if I weren't built a strong financial foundation to quit my job. What I'm saying is, I believe we have to be extremely careful about the things that we are sacrificing when we are building that net worth number. What I realized after working with many clients, one of the core reasons why it feels so hard to change career and life paths, especially when you have a six-figure job, is because we feel like when we leave that job, we lose everything. Our identity, our status, our stability. And all these three things are fake. They are illusions. Well, first of all, stability doesn't even exist in today's world. Corporations getting rid of employees in a blink of an eye. Let me ask you this. Do you really care about your identity and your status when in reality you hate your job and you feel like you're wasting your life? Do you really care about that? Do you really care about the title, the status? What does it even mean? Who's giving you that status? No one. I understand that living your current path can feel like death. Let me tell you, in many ways, it is a death because you're leaving the old and limited version of yourself behind and you're stepping into who you were always meant to be, your new version of yourself. And although this process is so scary, I promise you, it's 100% worth it. So your high salary is the #1 superpower to quit your job. You probably don't even realize. Freedom to do your purpose pivot. With a financial cushion, most people only dream of. Like 90% of the people can only dream of this. And You have that. Here's a secret that nobody in corporate will tell you. Most of the people build businesses from much less than you make. People start from unemployment, from burnout, from desperation, when they have nothing. But you have skills. You have access, you have the reputation, and you have the runway. And when you combine all of that with your desire for freedom and fulfillment, you are unstoppable. The real trap is staying stuck in your identity as a high achiever and people pleaser. Thinking that walking away from a stable job that pays well is irresponsible or selfish or just too risky, or you're being spoiled. That's what I've been told many times when I was leaving my job. But let me ask you this question. Isn't it riskier to stay in a life that's burning you out? Isn't it more dangerous to ignore the part of you that's craving more? Here's what I want you to know. You don't need to burn everything overnight. In fact, that's not what I'm talking about here at all. But you don't need to stop telling yourself that you cannot do something different just because the economy, the job market, the tech industry is bad. You don't need to keep listening to all the fear and scarcity-driven narratives that are designed to keep you small, scared, and controlled. Your new life begins from the moment you break from them. When you start listening to your heart, to your soul, to your inner wisdom, instead of fear-based stories we've been fed by the media and everyone around you in corporate, that's when everything changes. And you can be strategic and bold. You can keep your job for now and start getting clear on your purpose and start building your business on the side. You can absolutely use your six-figure salary as an investor in your purpose-driven future. That's what I did. I used my paycheck for years. I used my paycheck to invest in myself and in my future, to fund coaching, courses, mentorships, and even therapy. Eventually buy back my time, so I could build my business without panicking over rent or food or bills. My friend, I didn't waste my salary on just comfort, on to get approval from others, on to impress others. I didn't waste it for escapism. I always knew one day I want to quit and I will quit. I invested for it. I planned for it. And when you do it that way, everything is possible, because remember, we have the biggest leverage as six-figure earners. You can absolutely do this too. If you're nodding your head right now and thinking, this is me. I am the one making money but feeling miserable and feeling stuck. Here's your next steps. Well, firstly, this is gonna be some tough love, but stop pretending that your job is the only way to feel secure and is your only identity. I encourage you to step back and reflect. You can watch this video to gain more clarity on your unique gifts, your purpose, and your next steps. Next, you can start by asking, what would I do or create if I didn't need my job title and my paycheck to feel worthy? I know it's a tough question, but answering this question in a very simple way will help you get clear on what truly lights you up. And lastly, map out your options. Whatever feels true to you. If you need one-on-one support, I am offering free clarity calls, and you can find the link in the description. Remember, your financial stability can be a launchpad. It doesn't have to be a trap. It's much more easier to escape the hamster wheel than others. Don't waste this window by staying stuck in inaction. Let me tell you, my friend, you have more power than you think. And this isn't about quitting impulsively. In fact, it's the right opposite. It's about remembering you're not here to just survive comfortably. You are here to live meaningfully. The fact that you're already financially ahead of 90% of the people on this planet, that's not guilt. That is leverage. So use it wisely. Use it boldly. Use it to create a life that you won't need a vacation to escape from. If this spoke to your soul, I want to hear from you. Comment below, I am ready to use my superpower. And don't forget to hit subscribe so you don't miss my next video. Until then, keep dreaming bigger because you deserve it. With so much love.